Hey, so before I say anything about what I'm going to talk about today, I just want to address something really quick. On my last video, somebody posted a comment and said that it wasn't a good video and the quality of the video was poor or something along those lines. So I just want to clarify something really quickly. Boy, you do not need to see me in HD to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. So if you have a problem with looking at me in not HD, then why don't you go click somewhere else? Okay, so back to what I want to talk about today. It's going to be a little bit more toned down. I apologize if you're disappointed. But it's something that's like actually really important to me, and I think a lot of women and just, people of all genders. And that is sort of a topic called tone policing. It's not a sort of I guess phrase that a lot of people are necessarily familiar with, but from what I understand, it basically just means invalidating or discrediting an otherwise valid point that someone is trying to make by telling them that they're being too angry or too aggressive. And this hits really close to home for me because I have been being told for at least the past 25 years that I'm too aggressive, I'm too abrasive, I'm too type A, I'm never going to change anybody's mind with the attitude I have, the tone I have, and I just kind of want to, I guess if I'm going to start making like videos, I just need y'all to understand where I'm coming from with that. So essentially, I am a very sort of type A personality. However, I understand that a lot of the topics that I talk about are very sensitive and they're very controversial sometimes. I also understand that I have an extremely polarizing personality. I give a pretty classic meaning to you hate me or you love me, and that's fine. And what I'm here to talk to you about today is kind of this like sort of theory that I have that I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of or make up, but it is that sort of, I believe that every person in society learns differently and receives information differently. I am sort of not very strong supporter of our US education system for this exact reason. We sort of have all these standardized tests, and they literally are called standardized, which implies, that kids can learn in a standard way, which I don't believe is the case. So I kind of use that as an anecdote or an analogy for sort of the topic of discussing controversial or maybe sensitive issues relating to social justice. I have been told, like I mentioned earlier, countless times that, I understand where you're coming from, but if you would just say it nicer or phrase it in a way that isn't so aggressive. No. First and foremost, like, I'm just going to do a little too long didn't read for y'all. I'm not ever going to start phrasing things nicer. And if you want to know why, you can sit around and listen to the rest of this video. If you don't, you can leave. Bye. So back to that whole thing about like I feel like everybody learns differently. I certainly believe that there are people in this world who exist who are not going to learn anything unless it is spoon-fed to them and their hand is held and they're patted on the little head and hugged and coddled and talked through and validated the entire time. I understand that there are some people who just only are going to learn that way. And for those people who are only going to learn that way, I'm sure there's other campfire counselors that will sit around and hold your hand and talk to you. I'm not going to be that person. There are other people in the world, people kind of like me, who need to be hit over the head with stuff before they really actually internalize it and understand it. You would not believe the amount of inbox messages and text messages that I get via on Facebook or in my email or text of people saying like, I never thought of this thing that way, or I'm really inspired by your sort of ability to not really give a expletive if, people don't like what you're saying or not. And so just be aware that there are people who do learn this way, who do have the ability to access information in that way. Secondly, and most importantly, really, is a collective we, me included, entirely too much stock in the feelings of these sort of oppressors in our society. It is actually, I need you to really think about this. It is actually told to me that I should rephrase and reevaluate the way that I deliver messages because it is not being received well by the sort of majority. And whenever I think about it, the people who it's not being received well by are straight white dudes. I mean, and I really don't know what other way to put it to you, but it's literally not women telling me that I'm being too aggressive. It's not gay people, lesbian people, bisexual people telling me I'm being too aggressive. It's not even black men. It's literally only straight white men who are telling me that I need to talk in a different way because I'm coming off as aggressive by the most aggressive group of people in our society. Like, that makes any sense at all? It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. But I kind of am here to say that, and another thing. I just read an article today on feministing.com. You can go look it up if you want, about a study that a college did in a mock trial, right? So students went to a mock trial, and that was the methods. But what they found, the findings were that anger and aggression, whenever it is attributed to a man or a male person, is considered, what did they say? Like dominant and assertive, like these good things, right? Take charge, can do. But whenever the same exact sentences and words are attributed to a woman, then people assume that it's like anger and basically like being bitchy. And I think it's really interesting that they use the exact same words and the exact same sentences because it really shows you the way that we perceive women and men differently in our society. And I really hate that it's like that, and I really wish that it wasn't like that. But until it's not like that, I'm not about to just sit here and be quiet. I'm about to still do exactly what I feel like doing and say exactly what I feel like saying. And if it hurts your white boy feelings, I don't care. It's not that I don't have the ability or the capability to be nice. I do. But I don't want to, because your feelings aren't as important to me as trans people dying, the sort of mass incarceration of black and brown people in this country, the fact that we shame people who are just happen to be born in poverty. It doesn't matter that you don't like the tone that I'm using because my points are valid. So if all you're going to do is sit around here trying to talk about you're too angry, you're too aggressive, and not even listen or put stock into anything that I'm saying, then you're already a lost cause. Bye. Like, I don't have time to sit around here and hold your hand. This ain't freaking summer camp. We not at the campfire. I'm not singing Kumbaya with you. You are not my friend. You frankly are my enemy. So if your feelings are hurt by the tone of my voice, not only am I not sorry, I just don't care. That's all for today.